So in this video, I'm gonna be telling you two summed up stories of two Suicide Squad missions. These aren't really canon at all. Is these are based off of some role plays that me and my boys did, and I thought they were pretty interesting, and I decided to share them. And let me know if you find these stories entertaining or not. For the first mission, there are three members part of the team: Automatopoeia, um, Vengeance, Bane's daughter, and the third one is Silver Banshee. And basically, the mission is that they have to go to this underground auction where a bunch of villains will be, and they're gonna be selling a bunch of pretty powerful weapons. And when I say underground, I'm gonna explain it here because when I explained it to one of my friends, he didn't get what I meant. He thought it literally meant they're underground. It's more like the dark web, how that's like an underground internet access or whatever you want to call it, or like the internet or the underground railroad. It isn't really like underground. It's just um like unknown really by the government. It's not really accessible, whatever. But yeah, if you don't still don't understand, then I don't know. I'm just gonna further on with the story. Basically, yeah, they have to go there and they have to basically get some items that are very, very powerful. The only item that Amanda Waller knows is there is one of the tridents from Atlantis. Not the main trident that Aquaman has. That's just too powerful, and I don't think they'll be able to take it from him. But there are still multiple other um shit. What is it? I had a brain fart, even though I just said the word. There are still multiple other tridents in Atlantis, and she knows that one of the tridents are there. She doesn't know that it isn't as powerful as Aquaman's, but anyways, yeah. So basically, they get dropped off at this different country. I don't know where. Just we could just imagine it's a made up one, and they have two different transportation choices that they have. There's a helicopter and a van. The team end up going with the helicopter, even though Automatopoeia kept on insisting that they would choose the van. But either way, they get in the helicopter and they start flying. The only way to get to the destination is to basically fly over this military base. And because they're in a helicopter and they're not like um given the go to go, if that makes anyways, they get shot down, and because none of them even know how to pilot a helicopter, they crash into a tower. They all end up surviving this ordeal, and they hop out the helicopter. They're now in the tower, and the military soldiers keep shooting them. Silver Banshee, she then flies up a little bit and blasts away the tanks and whatever soldiers are in front of them. She assists her other teammates in hopping down from the tower so that they wouldn't harm themselves. Because besides Vengeance being pumped with venom constantly through her blood, the other two team members are basically just regular humans. So yeah, they basically start running and they are going to the gate, and then a helicopter flies in front of the team while they're running. It fires a missile. Silver Banshee's able to knock it to the side, and it ends up firing in front of Vengeance. She doesn't die, but she does get knocked back, scraping against the floor. And then Silver Banshee flies up and basically is able to bring down the helicopter. Onomatopoeia runs back to Vengeance and starts shooting, giving her backup, shooting the military while he's helping her up, and they start running again. They end up crossing the gate and they go into the forest, and but they go like to climb the mountain, but it's also like a forest on top of it as well. They start hiking up the mountain, and they're already halfway, but it took them the rest of that night and another whole day. But they decide to keep hiking the rest of the way to the top, and they could rest there. So it takes them about another day, and they finally make it there. Before they rest or whatever, Onomatopoeia scouts the area just in case there's any threats there. And then he hears a noise. He looks around. He's confused. A figure's in the trees, and it hops down. It's Bronze Tiger. Onomatopoeia and Bronze Tiger just have a stare down now. and Automatopoeia starts to pull out his SMG to fire it, and Bronze Tiger throws one of his Bowie knives at him and just cuts his Automatopoeia's trap shoulder. Shoulder. Fucking trap. It's a back muscle next to the neck. And yeah, so he starts firing his SMG, and Bronze Tiger slides to the side to evade the bullets, but his left shoulder still ends up getting shot up, and he gets behind a tree, behind cover, and Onomatopoeia keeps spraying. When Onomatopoeia goes to reload, Bronze Tiger says, "Wait, aren't you Onomatopoeia part of the Suicide Squad?" And they start conversating, and Bronze Tiger is basically like, "Amanda Waller sent me for backup. I have a bomb in my neck too." Onomatopoeia's like, "Well, damn, you should have started off with that first." And Bronze Tiger's like, "You didn't even give me a chance. You just started spraying your gut." They both go back to the camp that they decided to set up, and Bronze Tiger starts patching himself up with some of the medkits he has in his bags. Cause yes, he brought some bags to like help them. It comes with change the clothes, more guns, just different shit in general. The next day, they decide to hike down the mountain, and they're at the halfway point, going down on the other side. They have a choice to rest, but they decide not to, and they want to keep going. To just finish going down the all of the mountain, but this part of the mountain is much steeper than the other part, and so as they're going, they end up falling, tumbling, and Silver Banshee ends up getting she could fly, so she ends up like stop tumbling quicker than the rest, but because she's a villain, her mentality is like, I'm just let them handle themselves. They all end up rolling to the bottom, and for the most part, they are good. Vengeance and Onomatopoeia, they get up and they start, dusting themselves off. They look at Bronze Tiger, and he's laying there on the ground with his neck, twisted. Bronze Tiger has died. They decide to rest, and the next day they go to the auction with a change of clothes. But before they go in the auction, they have to leave their weapons there, and so yeah, they have to do that. As they're going in, um, Amanda asks Vengeance to basically describe what she sees there, and she describes that there is a like futuristic looking rectangular cuboid, and Amanda like she keeps describing it, Amanda Waller figures out what this is. So anyways, the auction starts, and the first thing is the trident. The Vengeance starts bidding for it. Oh yeah, they only have $12 million to their name. I know that's a lot. I don't know. It was just a number that I picked while we were doing the roleplay. Um, and other villains start having a bidding war with them, and then Lex Luthor hops in, and Vengeance and Lex Luthor keep going back and forth, upping each other. And then Vengeance says she'll put 9 mil. Well, Amanda Waller's in her ear yelling, "Stop going so high! That we don't need that anymore." And then Lex Luthor just says 13 mil, and that's final, and because that's a million over what they have, Lex Luthor ends up winning. And then another item is a spear. I don't remember the name of it right now, but um, anyways, yeah, everyone's just like, "Oh, this is a normal spear," and Vengeance wanting to go home with something, she ends up having a bidding war with another villain who's not that. I don't know. It's just another villain. We'll say it's Calendar Man or something. And Vengeance ends up winning because Calendar Man doesn't have that much money, and she bids like $1,050. I don't know. I'll just say a random number. And then the next item, so she wins that. The next item is the rectangular cuboid that I was talking about. Because nobody even knows what it is, it's just like some futuristic technology. The bid starts off at just $100, and Vengeance bids for it, but nobody knows what it is, so they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to test that shit." And Scarecrow is the one that. Real quick, gotta say this: Scarecrow, because they're not allowed to have weapons, including Scarecrow's gas. Scarecrow has a bodyguard with him. That bodyguard being Killer Croc ends up going against Vengeance in the bidding war. and they keep upping each other's ante or whatnot. And Amanda Waller just ends up telling Vengeance to just bid all the money on it. And Vengeance is like, "What? No, you dumb bitch. Why the fuck would I do that? I'm gonna save the money." And Amanda's like, "Yo, watch your mouth or I'm gonna blow your head up." Anyway, so Vengeance bids the rest of the money on the rectangular cuboid. They take their winnings, and Amanda Waller just tells them to leave since they have no more money, so there's no point of them still being there. And there's a van waiting for them outside of the auction house. They take the van, and Onomatopoeia starts to drive. Onomatopoeia ends up taking a right, and they end up at the military base, and the military soldiers recognize them, so they start shooting. Onomatopoeia starts reversing, and like, he just makes a U-turn to turn around, and they're being shot up. Silver Banshee flies out the car, and she's like flying next to it, and um like blowing the soldiers so they can fly away, whatever. Onomatopoeia is looking back and distracted. He doesn't think anything's in front of him, and boom, a car crashes into the van. Luckily, everyone had their seatbelts on, and Silver Banshee was flying, so she's good nonetheless. The car, Scarecrow and his bodyguard from the auction, who was Killer Croc, due to him not being able to have weapons, they both hop out. They're the duo. Onomatopoeia starts to fire at them. So Scarecrow just throws himself back into his car to hide cover, and Vengeance and Killer Croc start fighting. Then Scarecrow throws his gas at them so they can start fearing, but Silver Banshee just blows the gas away. Oh yeah, the military, they just like let them go. I guess, I don't know. Once they cross their borders, they're not really worried about them. That's just me talking about them so that y'all don't be like, what happened to the soldiers? Whatever. So yeah, they start fighting. They all Vengeance hops on Killer Croc's back, choking him out, and while this is happening, Silver Banshee and uh Killer Croc start getting in a fist fight. Onomatopoeia deals with Scarecrow basically by knocking him out. He was shooting him, then he knocked him out, and he tied him up. Killer Croc slams himself on the back. It breaks Vengeance's a couple of her ribs, and her leg is fractured. He gets back up and he's going to try to kill her, but Silver Banshee just knocks his ass back, and they start going back and forth. He ends up retreating into a sewer drain or a manhole, whatever you want to call it, and he dips. They both go back to Onomatopoeia, and Vengeance shoots Scarecrow in the head. Then the three of them make it. Amanda Waller tells them to go to the dock, and they end up getting in a boat where the soldiers are, and they leave. All right, that's the end of the first mission. I know I said I was gonna tell two quick ones, but that story was actually like pretty long. As you can see, it's like past 13 minutes, and so I think the quick to me is like within 6 minutes. So I'm just save the other story for another time, and I'm pretty sure that one is actually super quick to get done.